Hey guys, today we are going to work on reviewing the coordinate plane and graphing ordered pairs. This lines up with IXL assignment VXU. So here is a fun little graphic. There's a lot of information on here though, so we're going to break it down to remind ourselves of what the coordinate plane is. So the coordinate plane is the official name for this graph we see here. And there are technically four sections. There's four quadrants. So up here, we're in the upper right-hand corner is your first quadrant, and all of the points in that are positive because we can see we have positive numbers here and positive numbers here. Then the upper left quadrant, that's where I'm now currently circling, that is quadrant 2, and these have both negative and positive numbers. If we go to the bottom left, this right here is quadrant 3, and we have negative numbers in both cases. And then last but not least, the bottom right is the fourth quadrant, and that has positive and negative numbers as well. So those are our four sections. The way that our sections are split up is by two axes. So the horizontal axis, which is right here, it runs left to right, that is our x-axis. Then the vertical axis, that's what goes up and down, that is our y-axis. The center right here is that starting point, so it's 0, 0, and the official name for that is the origin. When we have points on a coordinate plane, they're sometimes called coordinates, they're other times called ordered pairs, and they are always written in this format where we have the parentheses around them. That's what helps us know it's an ordered pair. And then we have our x value and our y value. So if we look at point C right here, the x value is 0 and the y value is 5. X comes before y in the alphabet, as does in an ordered pair. So then first number is our x, the second is our y. And we can see here we moved nowhere for our x. So I didn't go left or right at all, but I went up 5 units to land on point C. And then let's just look at one more point. If we look down here in the third quadrant at point F, that's -6, -5. So we started here at the origin, we started at the center, and we went -6 along the x-axis, and then moved down -5 along the y. And once both of those movements were complete, a point was placed there, and that is our location. That is our ordered pair. It kind of makes me think, I don't know if you've ever played the game Battleship. That's a little bit older of a game, but you would have grids that you would follow when you go along with this to get that location. All right, let's go ahead and hop onto IXL because then we can have a little bit more focused problems and we can practice graphing ordered pairs and identifying them when they're on a graph for us. All right, we are now on IXL, and remember that code is VXU. So here we have our coordinate graph here. Might be a little bit easier for you to read, just kind of depends on how your brain works on whether you like that previous image with all the notes or whether you work a little bit better with one that's less colorful. But we are being asked to find the coordinates of point X. So we have several points on here, but we are wanting to find X. So that's this one right here that my arrow is kind of pointing to. It is yellow. So remember, when we are working with an ordered pair, we have both the X value and the Y value. So our X value is the horizontal axis, so it's telling us how we move left and right. And then the y value is vertical, up and down. It's telling us that type of movement, and it's always listed in parentheses for us. And if we look down at the bottom above submit, those parentheses and those comma are already there for you. We're just going to need to type in the X and the Y values. So when you're finding an ordered pair, you always start here at the origin, so the center at 0, 0, and first calculate how it moved along the X. So it went over 1, 2, 1, 2, -3. So we went over because we went to the left. Look how your numbers are negative, just like they would be on a number line if you went to the left. So we went left -3 spaces. That's our X value. Now we need our Y value. Remember, that's up and down. We only have to go down 1 unit, and we're going down, so that aligns with -1. Meaning our ordered pair, our coordinates for point X are -3, -1. And make sure that you are careful to type in the negatives if that's part of your answer. Don't forget about those. So let's try this one. We want to know the coordinates of point U. So once again, when we have an ordered pair, when we have coordinates, however you want to say it, it is an X and a Y value. X comes first and then Y, just like the alphabet. So right here, we have our point U. It's in purple for us. So let's start with our X. Remember, that's how much it moves horizontally, so left and right. So if we start at our origin, we kind of have to, look down with our finger, but we only have to go over 2 units for that U. Or another way you could look at it is you could look at the U and kind of look down and say, oh, that lines up with the X value of 2. So as you can see, my little pointer tool is following that down, whichever way works best for your brain. And then now we need our Y value. So one way you could do it is you could literally just count up and see how long it takes you to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can just say, all right, here's my point. Let's look at my Y-axis. I see that that lines up with the number 5. Same answer, either way you do it. You can either count or just look down and take your finger close to your computer screen or the end of a pen or a pencil and find the X value of 2 and the Y value of 5. And these are both positive numbers since we're in our first quadrant, so we can type them in as such. All right, sometimes when you're working with a graph, your points may not be on an exact line, which is what we have here, but that's okay. The process is pretty much the same. So we want to know the coordinates of point U. And we're told here that we're to either write our answer as an integer, so that would that'd be a positive or negative number, or we could have it rounded and estimated to the nearest half, which is kind of nice. That makes it easy for us to know that if any of these points aren't on a perfect grid line, that means it's going to be halfway in between. We want to know the coordinates of point U. Just like before, we have our X value and then our Y value. So I see right here down at the bottom in purple is point U. So if I want to know the X value, I'm just going to look up, kind of trace my little pencil here and say, all right, right here is where that X value would be. And it's halfway between 1 and 2, which according to our directions means we'd write that as 1.5. Then for our Y value, that's the vertical axis. So I'm going to look and see where that lines up with the Y axis. And I trace that along and land right here. This one is exact. located exactly at -5. So that would be our ordered pair, 1.5, comma, -5. And be careful when you type those in to include any decimal points and any negatives. All right, let's do the reverse. This time it's giving us the coordinates, it's giving us the ordered pair, and we need to identify which one of these points match it. I like to do this by kind of ignoring the other ones on the screen and just graphing it myself. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and use IXL's pen tool because this may be really helpful for you to use on this IXL assignment. So notice I'm over here on the right at the underneath my SMART score at the very bottom. I can click on the pencil. And then I have two different color options, black ink or red ink. So in this case, we'll make our X value and then our Y value. So if we have an X value of -1, that means I'd start here at 0 and go to the left 1, but I don't put a point there yet. I need to do that full movement before I place my ordered pair. So I'm just going to the left 1 space. And then my Y value is -4.5. Remember, your y-axis is vertical, so because it's negative, our negative numbers are down below. So we're going to go down 4.5 or 4.5 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5 lands us right here at W. So point W is the ordered pair that has those coordinates. All right, let's try another one here. Which point has the coordinates of 4, -4? I'm going to come back to I'll just keep using the IXL tools actually. So our first number, remember, is our X value, and the second number is our Y value. So if we're going to graph this, we're going to go over to 4 on our X, and then we need to make sure to go to -4 on our Y. So -4 means we need to find the -4 on our Y value, and that means us going down, and looky right here, that lands us on point T. So the ordered pair that has the coordinates 4, -4 is point T. All right, let's bump it up another notch. Here's another type of problem you're going to see as you work through and get more confident, get questions right, where you just need to straight up graph it yourself. When you're graphing on IXL, as you see, once I take my mouse and cover over, it just follows me, and I can click anywhere and put a point. If I realize that's incorrect, I can click in that exact location again, and the point is gone. So we want to have something that is located at -10, which is our X value, and 5, which is our Y value. When we're graphing an ordered pair, you start at the beginning, and we need to go to the X value of -10. Remember, horizontal is your X axis, so we'll go all the way over to -10, but don't click yet. You got to do the full movement. Our Y value is a +5, so we're going to go up to the 5. You can either count up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can look here at your numbers and notice that it goes from 4 to 6, skipping a line. Well, what's in between 4 and 6? 5. So that's why this right here is the correct location for that ordered pair. All right, we need to now graph the point -7, 1. So remember, start at the origin. That first number, is it your X or your Y? The first number is your X, the second is your Y. So we're going to go over to -7. I don't see the number -7, but that's okay. We're just counting by twos, and it's going every other line. So that means it, even though it's labeled by twos, it's really counting by ones because it skips a line. So right here would be -7, halfway between -6 and -8. And then our Y value is 1, meaning we need to go up 1 unit. Bingo, there's our location. That's where our ordered pair goes. All right, we're going to do one final question, and we have to graph more than 1 point, and we have half values. The nice thing is with this IXL assignment, it's only going to allow you to do the half values because that's easiest to do. So let's start with our first one here. We want to graph the point 0.5, so a half, comma 5. Remember that we start at the origin and the first number is our X value. So when I look at how this is labeled, it goes from 2 to 4, but skips a line, meaning if I want to add some labels in here, meaning this is the number 1, this is the number 3, this would be -1, this would be -3. If that's something you guys need to do, you have the pen tool on IXL. You can do that. So this would be 1, this would be 3, this would be 5, this would be -1, -3, -5. And I guess I can put my 5s on this too. So if it ever helps you to fill in the labels that they skipped, you're more than welcome to. All right. So we start at 0. Our X value is half, which means I'm just going to go halfway between 0 and 1. And then our Y value is a +5. So we're going to go up 5. And right here is our first ordered pair. And in the second point, I'm going to come back down to the origin. It is 4.5, so 4.5. So we're going to go over 4 and then half again on the X. And our Y value is 3.5. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3 and a half, putting us right here in the center. And there is the location of our 2 ordered pairs. All right, it is your guys' turn to try it. Quick little reminder that if you would like to see an additional video to get some more examples, here is an awesome one that IXL made. Sometimes it helps to just see it again or see it from, a different point of view. But I believe you guys got this. I think you can rock it out. I love graphing points. I hope that you will too. But if you have any questions, make sure to reach out. Bye.